Hi, today's February 6th, and I'm going to make this video in English and in Spanish. I am, at this moment, looking for a solution to, or rather, a way to assure that I have the best water possible for my family here in my house in Central Florida. And my thinking is, before I buy a filter, I would like to know what the problem is with the water. And I've been told by my mother and by my mother and maybe one other person that in this county, they test the water. Like, we pay taxes and they'll test our well water. I have a well. I'm going to say that in Spanish. So, yo estoy buscando la manera de tener el agua más saludable para mi familia, y ya tengo entendido que una manera muy fuerte que están envenenando el mundo es por los sistemas de agua. Normalmente, cuando uno está pagando un municipio, eso supuestamente garantiza que el agua es limpia. Lastimosamente, que yo he encontrado en los últimos 2 años es que hay pocos países en el mundo que permiten fluor in el agua. There's only 8 countries on earth that allow fluoride in the water, which I mentioned in another podcast, and they include the country I live in now and the country I've lived in roughly for the last 17-18 years, back and forth in the last 3 and 4. But these 8 countries put fluoride in the water. Fluoride is a neurotoxin. You can look it up. Look up Harvard 2012 neurotoxin fluoride. Again, write down these 4 words: Harvard neurotoxin 2012 fluoride, and you'll learn that it's a terrible, terrible, terrible waste product from phosphates and aluminum that is, after removed from a processing site, is then sold into municipal water systems, and it's really bad for us. So, esa partícula de flúor, es el, entre comillas, elemento, pero en fin, residuo del proceso de los fosfatos y aluminio, es muy peligroso para el ser humano. Y entonces me puse mucha atención en tener filtro cuando estaba viviendo en Colombia. Ahora estoy otra vez en Florida Central. Tengo un pozo que creo que va 30 o 40 pies abajo, y estamos en una zona agrícola que enfrente eso fue árboles de naranjas en las 80s y 90s y antes, y a mi lado también. Y yo tengo absolutamente claridad porque yo pregunté hace 3 semanas si están usando pesticidios con las naranjas, y aquí al lado me dijeron absolutamente que sí. Y ese es mi vecino, y él me dijo que él tiene un pozo que es 350 pies abajo. So, my neighbor has an orange grove. What you can see behind me was an orange grove before the 90s. It was all orange groves. So they use pesticides. They're very open about it. And fertilizers that are another issue for human health, from what I understand. I'm learning about it. I don't know a lot about it, but from what I understand, if you're not on the city water, take a look and see what's in the water that could be seeping into your well. So today I went with my daughters to get the water tested, and I found that the county, even though the county says that they're going to test the water, that they don't test the water. I went to an office that is the water conservation office for the county. Was it the water? Yeah, the water conservation office for the county. And the gentlemen were very nice, and they printed out this piece of paper for me. And it says, so yo fui donde la oficina de conservación por el condado. Había unos señores como ingenieros y hablé con ellos sobre mi preocupación y qué tipo de filtro debo comprar. Pero primero quiero saber cuál es el elemento más peligroso que ellos han visto en el condado, y expliqué dónde vivo y en qué vía, etc. Y me dijeron uno de los ingenieros paró y dijo, arsénico. So when I went into this office and I said, my concern is this whole thing about finding a filter that's going to respond to whatever is the particular issues of my water, and I would like it to be tested before I make the decision. The guy goes, I go, oh, well, can you tell me what's the main ingredient that you guys are finding in this area of the county where I live? And the guy goes, arsenic. That's crazy. That's like a poison, right? So then another guy comes out very kindly and gives me this piece of paper that says, the county has a water toxics program. What services are available? This program is responsible for coordinating groundwater sampling for chemical contamination of public and private drinking water supplies, such as agricultural chemicals or pesticides. Upon citizen request, program staff can collect well water for testing, provide information to owners on potential health effects, and provide assistance in obtaining treatment or another source of water when necessary. And then it says where, and it gives me the address of where I went today and the phone number. So I went to this office today, and there was a gentleman there, and he said, how can I help you? And I said, oh, hi, here's my water. I wanted to know if you guys can do testing for that. He goes, we don't do that. Now, this is called the Water Toxics Program in the Environmental Public Health Department of the county, and they don't do that. And I said, wow. I go, your neighboring institution down the road told me that you do. And he said, no, and we only work for the agricultural industry. And I said, well, my concern is this, and I explained a little bit what I'm telling you. So había un señor allá y él era como, no hacemos eso y realmente trabajamos para el tema sector agricultor y aquí el agua está bien. And I said, bueno, ¿cómo se responde a arsénico? Creo que se dice. I'm like, well, how do you respond for arsenic being in the water that your colleague just told me down the road is the problem? Oh, that's naturally occurring arsenic. Eso es una mineral que ocurre naturalmente. I didn't say anything because I'm new to it, but I've been studying at the last 6 to 8 months or more. I've been studying the periodic table of elements, and I really don't think that arsenic is naturally occurring, but I will leave that to you. Yo estoy estudiando la tabla de elementos periódicas, y yo no creo que arsénico realmente es algo que naturalmente la tierra construye para nosotros a tomar. Yo creo que Dios hizo el agua así, pero no dije nada. Y simplemente pregunté de nuevo si iban a hacer una prueba para nuestro agua. Como uno paga impuestos al condado para esos servicios que aquí mismo dice que se ofrecen. Y aquí dice cuando solicita el cliente. ¿Ok? Eso lo leí en inglés. ¿Qué servicios son disponibles? Es un programa responsable para coordinar tomar una muestra del agua del piso que tiene contaminación química para público o privado usado potable para tomar. Y cuando un ciudadano pide, el equipo viene y pueden coleccionar esa agua para proveer información a los dueños sobre los efectos de salud y proveer asistencia en obtener tratamiento o otra fuente de agua cuando es necesario. So, llegué a la casa, como no logré nada en persona, y llamé a la oficina y una mujer me dijo, nosotros no hacemos nada de eso. I'm like, ¿por qué tu página web dice eso? Nosotros no hacemos eso. Tú puedes aplicar para the West Florida Management District. So I got on the phone and I called when I got home this phone number here, and this woman told me, no, we don't do that. You can you can see if they will select you through the West Florida Management District Contaminated Water, I don't know what program. And I said, well, what do you do there? What do you do there in the water department? In the water department, the Florida Health Water Environmental Public Health Drinking Water Department, if you're not testing the drinking water. Well, we test for pools and we test for septic tanks. I said, ¿de qué están haciendo si no está haciendo las cosas para el agua potable para nosotros, la gente que vive en los pueblos o el condado, si no nos está mirando si el agua es potable? ¿Para qué más están existiendo esa institución? Señora, tienes que mirar en otra entidad. Imagínese. So, folks, I encourage you, anybody who's watching this, my neighbors, hopefully, I'm making this podcast, I believe strongly in Jesus' commandment that we are to love our neighbors as ourselves. And I love my neighbors, and I think you should know that it's very, very important for long life to have good, pure drinking water. Yo creo mucho en Jesús y su mensaje de que uno debe amar a sus vecinos como ama a uno mismo, y quiero contarles que es muy importante para la vida extendida y no corta que el agua que usted está tomando es pura y buena. Y lo que estoy observando aquí y también en Colombia, what I'm seeing here in the United States and also in Colombia is that we don't know what we're drinking, and we don't know what we're washing our bodies in. No sabemos qué estamos tomando, no sabemos qué estamos lavando nuestro cuerpo, qué estamos dando a nuestros hijos, y es muy importante empezar a investigar. Espero que todo está bien y que estoy equivocada. I hope I'm wrong. I certainly hope our water is clean and wonderful, and I don't have to worry about anything like most of my neighbors, some of my neighbors think. But I'll tell you what, a lot of people have filters, and I'm surprised that more people don't talk about this. So have a great day. Thanks for listening.